Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use some adjustments, such as the curves adjustments, to darken parts of the picture as well as change the color to add some more contrast, and then add a vignette. So for this picture, there's a lot of blue that's taking place. Blue from the sky, blue from the water, reflected in the rocks as well as in the mountain range. And I want to have a little bit of contrast with the mountain range and the rocks below in color, maybe add a little bit more warmth to the rocks. So first thing that I want to do is make a selection of what I want to make changes to. So the fourth tool down in the toolbox is the quick selection tool. So once I make that selection of the quick selection tool, I have these options that are a single selection, add to selection, and a minus selection. So we're going to choose the add to selection and then just simply drag across the part of the picture that we want to make our adjustment to. So these rocks below, I want to make some adjustments, or a selection to make an adjustment, along with the mountain range. Now if you go a little bit too far, such as some of the water is selected here, I can hold the option key, and that is removing part of the selection, and then I can just simply release the option key and make more selections later. And that looks about right. I can also manually make the adjustments here if I want to. So once that is chosen, I can then go to the Adjustments panel, choose the Curves adjustment, which is the middle and the top row, and in the drop-down menu here we have our channels. So currently, by default, it has all three channels, red, green, and blue channel, but we can use each individual channel as we see fit. We now have this line that runs across our curves adjustment. We can just drag right in the center and just either raise it up to increase the amount of red or lower it to decrease the amount of red. So we're going to increase the red a little bit. I'm going to go to the blue channel and remove some of the blue to kind of give this sepia tone adjustment here. So I can click on the visibility to see the before and after. So now I'm adding some contrast and warmth within this. If it's a little bit too intense, I can then reduce the amount of the opacity and just see how it works from there. So we've now just added a curves adjustment to the color within the picture. Now the top of the mountain range here seems to be a little bit too light, so we want to darken that. So simply just go to, again, the quick selection tool. We can make a selection of the mountain range, go back to the adjustments panel, make another curves adjustment, and as you can see from that quick selection tool, everything has been deselected except that mountain range and the curves adjustment. I can then use the on image adjustments finger right here at the top, and then just on the picture can drag up or down to increase the amount of darkness of the picture. Now it looks like a little bit of the water has been selected here, so I can also go into the mask option here and feather the amount of that selection, such as right about there. That looks good. So looking at the visibility, darkening the top, adding a little bit more warmth to the rocks. Finally, we're going to use a vignette for this. So we're going to go to the Select menu, select All, go back to Select, and then Modify. And we're going to contract part of this selection. So we're going to make sure that the box is checked for the Apply Effect at Curves Bounds. Then we'll go about 125 pixels, select OK. And then at this stage, we can then go into our adjustments and darken this adjustment. But you notice that we're actually doing a reverse of the vignette that we want here. So we just simply go to our Properties menu under Mask and click Invert. And then simply use the feather to feather out that kind of rectangle box that we have shown here. So just to kind of create a little bit of a vignette that's taking place there. Okay, so using the adjustments panel of the curves adjustment, we can make an adjustment to a vignette, luminosity, as well as color variation.